Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. From A&B Crypto. Ripple partner SBI Holdings now a giant in the crypto industry? With a question mark, which is my inflections go like this at the end. This is a good article. Yeah, by and large, I'm going to run through the specifics, and they go on to point out that SBI is probably the most, they say pretty definitively in here, the most important partnership that Ripple has. And I've talked about, in terms of partnerships, I've spoken about who I believe their most important customers, which is a little bit different, because when I was speaking along those lines, I was really talking just in the context of utilization of XRP as a bridge currency. So specifically, XRP, being used on on-demand liquidity on RippleNet. And I've cited a number of times, fairly recently, that, in my opinion, the most notable, important customer in that regard is MoneyGram. But I think they certainly have a very reasonable case to be made here. And this article, perhaps, is even more interesting. I'm going to run through this as well. This is from Cointelegraph. SBI invests $30 million in B2C2, which is the largest proclaimed market maker in XRP. That's right, they're self-proclaimed to be the greatest market maker in XRP, and SBI partnered with Ripple, now's got a piece of that. So before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button, I would appreciate that very much, and it helps with the YouTube algorithm. And go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, because if you do, all of your wildest dreams will come true. Vote for Pedro. Shout out to Dr. Harry J. Malinsky. He's at XRP Veterinarian on Twitter, who tagged me in this first piece along with fellow XRP YouTuber, The Bearable Bull. Thank you very much, Dr. Harry J. Malinsky. I do appreciate this. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Ripple has been one of the most prominent and popular entities in the cryptocurrency and blockchain industry for a while now. However, while it has managed to acquire and pocket numerous banks and exchanges to push its services, its biggest deal has been with Japan's SBI Holdings. SBI Holdings is the largest known shareholder of Ripple, and ever since Ripple joined hands with SBI, its growth in Asia has been exponential. Ripple needed the support of a large financial services provider to integrate its services, especially from a promotional point of view. Yeah, not only are they just a fantastic partner for Ripple, but my gosh, they are very pro XRP specifically. You guys have heard about Yoshitaka Kitao. He's the head honcho running this stuff here. I've got some stuff to say. I'm going to hold off because I want to read a few more sentences in because it gets a part about XRP here. But suffice it to say, very pro, not just Ripple, but also XRP. Now, with SBI as its cheerleader, Ripple has managed to partner with other exchanges and banks in Asia who have also become a part of RippleNet. Apart from connecting Ripple with other financial service providers, SBI has also been pushing the MoneyTap settlement network, the implementation of RippleNet software that does not use XRP. So I wanted to stop and talk about this. That is factually correct, but it is not the whole story. And given that this is generally written as a positive piece, I suspect that the author of this probably just doesn't have this piece of information. I don't know why they'd intentionally leave it out when they're writing a bunch of primarily just very positive things about Ripple and SBI and all that jazz. But as far as MoneyTap, so that's an app that which is it's in Japan, and it's for moving money around, right, domestically. That's where it was kind of starting. But it turns out that it became very clear, actually, that they have much greater aspirations for the MoneyTap app because Yoshitaka Kitao himself has publicly stated that this MoneyTap app will implement XRP. It's going to utilize XRP. We know that definitively. And so MoneyTap, although not using XRP today, so again, it's correct. There's more to the story, like I said. It will utilize it, and that's why I was saying, you can just imagine. So you've got this, domestic-oriented app, but I think they see the future here. All right, people are going to be able to move money around the planet seamlessly, and you're not even going to have to walk into a retail location like, there's a MoneyGram in every single Walmart. I don't know if that's literally true, but they certainly are where I live. Major partner. I think they are, but anyway. But and not that that's going to go away. So and by the way, that's not a knock at MoneyGram. Just to be clear here, they're increasing their digital footprint. I'm just trying to make the point that things are changing here, and it'll be fascinating because you won't necessarily have to have the Money Tap app adopted the world over. It's just for these people individually that are using it. You can still connect to other people elsewhere on the planet that are using different applications to make these transactions possible here. But regardless of the platform being used, XRP is at the heart of it. If you're big picture, if you're talking about changing from one fiat currency to another. Then the piece continues. Apart from being a symbiotic relationship with Ripple, SBI Holdings shared in its March report news of it planning to occupy 50% of RippleNet, meaning SBI might soon be transacting 50% of the volume, according to analysts. In fact, in its investor relations report, the company had provided statistics for its remittance business, noting Vietnam to be the biggest recipient of remittances from Japan, accounting for 31.3%. And I actually didn't know that stat, so that was kind of fascinating to learn. And that's why they go on to speculate a little bit here, are noting that others have been speculating. So, all right, further, there have been speculations of a Ripple corridor between the two countries, despite there being no official announcement yet. So if the corridor is present, it must be put into great use, as it has been the most active corridor for SBI. So the way this is all going to unfold, so that's a major corridor, and we already know, for instance, the United States flowing into Mexico, that particular rail which is open, that's the most notable on-demand liquidity corridor. You can already see that in terms of what percentage of flows from the United States to Mexico is Bitso getting. That's the partner exchange in Mexico. And it's, is it 15%? I'm sorry if I'm mistaken on that, but I think that's the last number that was publicly cited. And think about just what it was a year ago. It was was it even like 2%? I can't remember. It was shockingly low. So this stuff's developing quickly. So imagine if a corridor opens like this, what's it going to look like? What's going to happen? It'll start small, and then fast forward a year, and then 2, and then 3. And more XRP will be flowing, connecting. So assume, and look, this is a corridor where there's some level of friction. As even if there's no official word, it's pretty reasonable to assume that if Ripple has success in their plan, there would ultimately be a corridor here. Now, as far as the timeline, I don't know. You just have to speculate and make stuff up, which I'm not going to do to that degree. But I'm certainly willing to speculate on whether or not it'll happen. Yeah, as long as Ripple's plans keep unfolding eventually. I just don't know exactly when. But what's neat about all of this, so it'll start off small, but then you fast forward, it'll become greater and greater and greater. And what does that mean? As more XRP is being utilized as a bridge currency, just facilitating transactions so you can convert from one fiat currency to another, XRP absolutely has to be held in order for this to happen. And that's why we haven't even seen that type of utility actually affect the price of XRP, because there are only a handful of corridors open and not enough participants. But this is the type of stuff that we're talking about here. This is big. Next, shout out to XRP Crypto for sending this next concept my way. And this is the one from, it's about the $30 million investment from SBI. And this is its title. SBI invests $30 million in B2C2, largest proclaimed market maker in XRP. This is cool, so check this out. SBI Financial Services, a subsidiary of Japanese financial giant SBI Holdings, has bought a $30 million minority stake in British crypto liquidity startup B2C2. The investment marks the beginning of a strategic partnership between the firms, as B2C2 is set to become SBI's main liquidity provider. That's big, so check this out. As announced on July 1st, the collaboration is aimed to expand SBI's crypto offering to millions of customers. B2C2 is intended to benefit from SBI's distribution network as the London-based startup launches an electronic prime brokerage. A spokesperson at B2C2 told Cointelegraph that the investment is one of the largest in the digital asset industry this year, declining to disclose more important details about the deal. By the way, every time I say B2C2, I keep thinking of R2D2. Is anybody else going there with their brains? I don't know. Maybe it's just a Moon Lambo thing. R2D2, beep, boop, beep. I'm pretty sure, actually, by the way, fun fact, I'm pretty sure anyway, maybe it's not a fact, I'm just highly confident that R2D2 is an XRP bot. It's an actual XRP bot. Changed my mind. All right, here's a quote from the representative. Ultimately, bringing together B2C2's beep, boop, beep, sophisticated asset liability management framework, valuable client base, and deep expertise in trading and prime brokerage with SBI's balance sheet strength will be a game changer, uniquely positioning us to tap the $20 billion a year prime brokerage market. All right, and then they go, I'm going to gloss over this, but in case you didn't know, SBI, I had a whole video on this. SBI is launching to launch Japan's first digital asset fund focused on XRP. There will be holdings of at least 50% XRP, basically. Let me scroll down a little bit further. Now to this is fun. B2C2 claims to be the largest market maker in XRP. Bam! The latest minority stake acquisition is the first time SBI invested in B2C2, a spokesperson at the company told Cointelegraph. B2C2 is primarily self-funded, with the majority owned by B2C2's founders, the representative said. Co-founded in 2015 by Max Boonen, a former Goldman Sachs trader, B2C2 is a major over-the-counter, that's OTC, trading platform. In an email to Cointelegraph, a B2C2 spokesperson claimed to be the largest market maker in XRP. And now SBI, they've broken them off a delicious piece of that. Isn't that something? Now, SBI has been actively involved in a number of crypto projects paying special attention to XRP, which it goes back to exactly what I was saying when I was covering that first article. SBI is not just a tremendous partner for Ripple, they are all in on XRP. Let me assure you of that. It is at the core of what they're doing, as well as specifically as anything that they're having to do with Ripple. It's at the core in terms of just adoption and of just the latest fintech technology. XRP is at the core of all of this. And that's why I keep saying, we're sitting here in 2020 and we got a bunch of people. I don't blame people for being a little bit frustrated that all this awesome news keep happening and then it doesn't seem to be reflected in price. Well, it's best to just acknowledge that to be part of reality today. And then from my perspective, I think that ultimately once the asset class matures, you're not going to have the situation where every cryptocurrency, valuable or not, just follows Bitcoin for the hell of it. Do you really think that's sustainable for all of the time remaining in the universe? I don't think for a moment it's rational to believe such a thing here. So how about this? That's crazy. So why do you think that they wanted to get themselves a piece of this particular company? Why did SBI want to invest in B2C2? Well, it probably plays perfectly well into their plans of global domination utilizing XRP, right? It goes together like a spaghetti and meatball. Tell me what you think below in the comments section. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!